This character, Ikoko, produced copious quantities of slime from his gentlemanly feature on an ongoing basis. Hello friends and welcome back to ReddX, your source for the freshest daily cringe content anywhere on the internet. Promise, swearsies, it's just a fact and it's totally science. Go ahead and look it up. Today we are diving into r/Tales of Neckbeards. It's not from my personal subreddit, r/ReddX reads. I think this might have existed before the subreddit. Maybe not. 7 months ago. We're digging through the archives just a little bit because Anonymous Griper sent me a DM on Discord and she's like, hey, have you seen this little one-off story? And I'm like, well, no. I haven't looked back through that archives in a very long time, but I'm glad to have something pulled up and presented so very nicely. So we're going to go ahead and see what it do today. Maybe we'll want some more Slimebeard. And indeed, what a name that is. It's quite evocative, is it not? Is he slimy in personality? Is he slimy in his proclivities? Perhaps he is just slimy in the most literal sense of all, like a greasy dude. I don't really know, but my mind is already running wild. I guess Slimebeard could fit like a lot of different neckbeards, but this is the one that has claimed the moniker as far as I'm concerned. So let's get some plugs and disclaimers out of the way, and then we will dive right into some of this Tales of Neckbeards cringe. Neckbeard customers working with Slimebeard. Yeah, he's not cool like Slimer from the Ghostbusters, you know? You ever drink some of that Ecto Cooler?
I see Ecto Cooler.
Oh, I'm just old? Okay, never mind. Hey everyone! Welcome back, user Anonymous Griper. I am a specialist writing coach from Wales, and I have had a few neckbeards for customers, so I figured that I'd share my experiences with them here, anonymized of course, to protect both the innocent and the bearded. If you are looking for help from this writing coach, yes, indeed, I included links to her Patreon. She's also hanging around in my Discord. She got a Discord server of her own, which I'm admittedly not very active in, but I'm there for moral support, most importantly. We've got a bit of symbiosis going, you see. She writes a story, I give her some free plug on the channel. It's pretty nice, all things considered. So, anyways, Slimebeard is a pretty grim one, so I'll give a trigger warning here for rape as fantasized by Slimebeard. Just to avoid any confusion, Slimebeard goes by they, them pronouns. Interesting, so maybe we have a backbeard here, which is, I guess, supposedly the gender-neutral term for neck/leg beards, although we've only used it in one other story. I'm happy to use it again, I suppose. It's just unfortunate it had to be on a specimen like this. Considering the nature of the fantasy, does anybody want to take a stab at the assigned birth gender? Because I've got some ideas, but I'm not going to say it out loud. Feel free to guess in the comments, although you probably already know. Anyways, Slimebeard reached out to me first, and from the outset they were grumpy and easily irritated. I offer a deal where people can get a beefy discount if they write for me a guest blog post, which has been detailed in the Taboti saga quite heavily. Slimebeard had seen the discount and was incensed that I'd expect something in return for the discount when there are people around, like Slimebeard for instance, who are having to get by on a low wage. They told me, you should be offering this deal to people who have a tight budget, even if they can't write anything for you. Let me tell you something, bro. Writing is free, okay? It doesn't take that much monetary investment if you're really gunning for the discount or whatever. Time is money, as they say, and apparently Slimebeard missed the memo on that. I wondered whether this person really understood the concept of reciprocity, but I decided to give him the benefit of the doubt because, I don't know, maybe they were having a bad day, Or more realistically, my income had been thin so far that month, and a commission's a commission. She works hard for the money, so hard for it, honey. Goddamn, dude. Sometimes the commission is not just a commission. Sometimes it's not worth it at all. But I don't think OP knew that yet. Also, offering a discount to just anybody, at that point, why don't you just lower your price? Like, anybody could walk up and be like, hey, my wages are too low to pay the full price. Just give me that discount. That's like the worst business model ever. Nobody in their right mind is going to do that. Jesus. So I discussed with Slimebeard about the best deal that I could offer them. I specialize in writing psychological character profiles, which I make by discussing the character with my client, and this was indeed the service that Slimebeard wanted from me. I can do that either on a flat rate, where we each work on drafts of the profile and send it back and forth to each other until it is done, or via consultation, which is probably the more expensive option. What's the option where I just pay you to write the whole thing for me? Because that's what a lot of these Neckbeard encounters end up being. Let's see if Slimebeard can break the mold. Consultations are a quicker way to get the profile finished, and arguably are more fun because we're directly working on it together, but again, they are the more expensive option. As a rough guide, they can cost twice as much as the flat rate, but it's really hard to say for sure because some characters are obviously more complex than others. If your character's more complex, okay, it's going to take more consultation hours to get the work done. It's also going to take longer if you happen to be a slow typist, or don't quickly pick up on what I'm getting at with my questions or explanations of psychological principles. So, overall, calculating the number of consultation hours required is difficult at best. Okay, well, I guess if I decide to ever avail this service, it's gonna be the flat rate for me. Time is really not a factor at all in my life these days. And I mean, I like having fun, but also it is supposed to be work. You know what I'm saying? You can't have too much fun at work or else you're not getting the work done. Ain't that right? And I'm sure some people will say, hey, Dayton, don't you just make YouTube videos? Isn't that super easy? And I'm like, yeah, but you think I want to do it every day? There are days where I'm off and I'm just like, okay, I gotta sit here and fake it for an hour. You know what I'm saying? And I've gotten pretty good at flipping the switch on and off, but it does require the flipping of the switch, you know? This is ReddX personality. It's not like my actual human personality in my everyday life. God, can you imagine that? I would be so annoying. Anyways, I don't really have any reliable way of knowing how many hours it will take to finish a character, but it averages out at around 6 hours. For this reason, if you're on a budget, I recommend the flat rate version. Slimebeard was adamant about two things. The first was that we worked on a consultation basis, and the second was that I guarantee, absolutely guarantee, that I would get the character done in 4 hours of consultation time. Well, I can't guarantee that. Why would you ever accept this contract? Wow, that sounds literally impossible. No, I'm not going to guarantee you that. A big part of contracts is negotiation. You know what I'm saying? I modify it, tell you your terms are outrageous, you accept or decline or modify it further, and back and forth we go until somebody decides to sign on the dotted line or walk away completely. I've had some employers get really mad at the fact that I'm trying to modify their contract, but I guess that's a rant for another day. So yeah, OP pushed back on this because I didn't want to set this person up for disappointment and an inevitably unfinished character. They were annoyed by my lack of willingness to agree to their demands without question. We had this conversation on Discord, and although I handled this conversation as politely as I could, any answer I gave that wasn't a straightforward, yeah, I can do that, was responded to with the oof emoji. Yeah, this is red flags all around. I don't care if money's tight. I gotta back out of this one immediately. How much does your sanity cost, OP? I'll send you the difference. It seemed that any failure on my part to agree to go with whatever they wanted was like a gut punch. But there was genuinely nothing more that I could do to be any more accommodating. They want you to lie so they can get upset at the end when you aren't able to fulfill the lie. So good on you for sticking to your guns here, OP. I fully expected them to say, just forget it, and not work with me at all, but eventually they grudgingly accepted my best offer, that I would do my best to get it done in 4 hours. But I made sure that they knew, absolutely knew, that I could promise nothing. See, I can't work customer service jobs like this. Before the commission is even started, I'm already against this person. I'm like, screw him. Give him a 2D cardboard cutout, finish it in 30 minutes. Here's your character, stupid. Give me my money.
Tell them to bring me my money. Yeah!
But OP is, trying to build a rep, hold up some word of mouth and stuff like that. So yeah, I guess it is good to try your best on this one. On the day and time of the consultation, I opened up one of my profile templates and granted Slimebeard access so they could see what I was writing as I wrote it. Given the level of access that I routinely provide during consultations, they were also able to write their own content on the profile. I normally allow clients to do this because I'll quite often write questions on the profile and leave them for the client to answer later, especially if the question came up as a part of a tangent. That way, the client can come back in between consultations to answer it on their own time, saving them money. Yeah, that's what I like the most. Write those questions as quick as you can, OP. We gotta finish this character profile in under 30 minutes. I want this character done, but I don't have the creativity to make it myself, and I don't have the money to pay somebody else to make it. So if you want to pay your rent this month, you gotta work within my constraints. Oh, God. Every time I read one of these stories, I'm just overwhelmed with how difficult all of this sounds. At the top of my profile template is a short stats section. Height, weight, age, a brief physical description, that kind of stuff. Once Slimebeard had access to the profile, I prepared myself for the first of 2 2-hour psychology and writing sprints. If we were going to try and finish this character in 4 hours, I would really need to get a shake on. I started asking Slimebeard questions in Discord, but noticed that they were filling in the description part for themselves. Okay, good. They're motivated. They know how to write. That's a step above the other beards that we've seen from Anonymous Griper. That is not a problem in itself. In fact, I have a serial character profile customer who takes care of his character's heights and weights and age while I get started with asking him my initial questions. So yeah, this can be a nice way for us to seamlessly work together and save time. But the things Slimebeard was writing gave me a heads up that this was not going to be a good consultation. As if I didn't already know that, but this was a separate red flag, all on its own. How are we even counting the red flags at this point? Isn't this just a bundle of red flags balled up into the shape of a person and thrown into a Discord server? I don't want anything to do with them. But rent must be paid, as OP said. Let's call the character Ikoko. He was a sort of frog beast, and if Slimebeard's description was anything to go by, Ikoko's most important feature was his genitals. Yeah, you know those big gigantic frog genitals.
Show us your cock.
Leo. All right.
Whoa.
Do frogs even have genitals? They can like transform into males or females at will, can't they? What's going on here? I never thought I'd have to sit here and consider gigantic slimy frog dongs, but every day's an adventure, I guess. So more to the point, it was apparently very important to note on this profile that this character, Ikoko, produced copious quantities of slime from his gentlemanly feature on an ongoing basis. Now that's good cringe. Did you recoil? I just recoiled too. I'm pretty sure the whole planet recoiled just a little bit. That sentence reduced the expansion of the universe by just a half inch or so. The whole universe cringed. This wasn't a consultation ending event in itself, but I kept this detail in mind as I asked about the character's family unit. Was there a mom and a dad, or just one or the other, or neither? Did Ikoko have any siblings, and if so, how old were they? What sex, and what were they like? What did Slimebeard consider the most important aspects of Ikoko's life story? I asked all of this, listened to their answers, and wrote the beginnings of the profile. Now, Slimebeard was already keenly aware of the inadequate time that we had to work on this character, and kept telling me to hurry up as I interviewed them. So much so that while I responded to that the first and second time, I stopped responding to the demands and just asked my questions and recorded the answers in the profile as fast as I could. God, I don't know how you don't drop them like a sack of potatoes. That would be so annoying. Hurry up! Like, pay more. What do you want? I'm not a miracle worker, okay? I'm doing the best that I can. Why don't you just write the character yourself? How about that? Our contract is canceled. Here's the money back that you need so friggin' much. Have a lovely life. Never talk to me again. But OP persevered, saying, I always listen for what the most important detail is about a character, because that gives me valuable information about what my customer wants from their character, and clues about how I can make our consultation a satisfying experience for them. That's fine with characters who overcome isolation or depression, or who spend their whole lives entangled in dynamics with their siblings, or who need to be the most villainous villains to ever villain, or any one of 1,000 different requirements. But I asked Slimebeard about it in particular because I already had a hunch that this consultation was going to crash and burn. What was your first clue? Probably the giant slimy frog dong. It's funny every time I say it. Slimebeard's canon for Ikoko was that he was capable of mind control, and that as an adult he would go traveling, visit a foreign land populated by a certain commercially successful fantasy species that I probably shouldn't name here, and use his mind control abilities to sleep with anyone and everyone he wanted, completely consequence-free. Yeah, thanks, I hate this already. How can you possibly make it any worse? Oh yeah, he manipulates people to his will, and basically assaults them while they're spellbound. Is this an evil character? Are we supposed to be cheering for this guy? Because I'm not cheering for this guy. Your main character is awful, which I guess is a direction, but I don't know, man. I hope he dies sooner rather than later. So, oh yeah, this character wasn't a villain either. Thanks for clarifying. This was Slimebeard's pet character, who they liked very much. This kind of situation is an occupational hazard with the kind of work that I do. I have certain subjects that I don't like to work with, non-consensual sex being one of them, and my terms of service clearly states that if you commission me with this kind of work and we can't resolve the offensive material, then I will terminate the commission and not provide a refund. Yeah, we've been through that too, Octopregbeard. Y'all remember that? How could we forget? Frankly, if you expect me to say, oh yeah, rape's totally great, so much that it doesn't occur to you to check whether that's a no-go subject for me, then you deserve to lose your money and have nothing to show for it. That's true. It's basically human decency, isn't it? I'm sure there are specific authors who would love to work with something like that, as despicable as that might seem to me, but they are out there, so go find one. Leave me alone. So yeah, read the terms and check your content with me, and therefore you can avoid the whole mess. But of course, Slimebeard hadn't done any of that. Since I was already in the consultation, I decided to do some work on Ikoko that might enrich him as a character, while also making the gravity of his mind control powers and what he chose to do with them abundantly clear. I think some people would call this malicious compliance. Ooh, crossover episode, r/malicious compliance, here it comes. And I will just let you know that I live for malicious compliance. I mean, it is pretty good. I like some petty revenge myself. As long as things get flip reversed and justice is served, I'm pretty down for either one. So, when I asked Slimebeard whether Ikoko had any siblings, they said yes. Ikoko had a big sister, let's call her Isel. When I asked whether Ikoko's whole family had that mind control ability or whether it was just him, Slimebeard told me that the whole family had it. Now, if you, reader, are either a parent or have a significantly younger sibling, then you will have lived with a toddler. Oh, I love it. It's so much fun every day, all time. Toddlers can be a lot to deal with, and sometimes you might wish that they would just be quiet and still when they're in a noisy, energetic mood. I mean, that's no crime. Everyone needs to chill out once in a while, so I asked Slimebeard whether it was possible that Ikoko and Isel's parents may have had the idea to quiet toddler-aged Isel down by mind controlling her to just sit still and not talk for a while, just for the occasional bit of peace and quiet. I asked whether they were likely to have actually gone ahead and did this, and Slimebeard said yes to both of those hypotheticals. I suspect that they didn't think much about why I was asking this question. I don't think they think much about anything at all. OP. This doesn't seem like the person with a whole lot of forethought. You know what I'm saying? I wrote this down on Ikoko's profile and continued asking questions about Ikoko's development on the basis that Isel had been controlled in that way as a toddler. Mind control is not a real ability, so we don't really know how being mind controlled would affect a toddler, but I can tell you that toddlers who are not allowed to be a bit chaotic while they work out what life is all about tend to develop personality disorders. I don't mean they should be allowed to do anything they want, by the way, because guidance is important, but there is a point where making them be quiet and still and civilized gets in the way of their personal development. That's right. They need to explore. They're kids. Let them play in the dirt, goddammit. Kid comes inside, he's dirty. Good. He's a child. He's supposed to be dirty. And yes, I am talking about my own son at that point. So I confirmed with Slimebeard whether they were happy to agree that Isel developed one as a result of her toddlerhood experiences. Slimebeard said yes and quickly moved on. They really feel the time crunch though. They're just like, yeah, whatever. Just make it happen. Hurry, hurry. We worked on, and I built the long-term implications of Isel's personality disorder into Ikoko and his family's story. It was inevitably going to be an important piece of context for what Ikoko's experience of growing up would be like. By the time Ikoko was a teenager, the age that Slimebeard wanted us to reach, Isel had practically torn the entire family apart. Mom and Dad had done everything that they could to teach their daughter healthy emotional and behavioral habits with little to no success. And Ikoko had been neglected and ignored due to being the good child who didn't need so much attention. Oh god, I identify with that one a little bit too much. But I mean, really, anybody would look like the good child when compared with my brother, I guess. He had also gotten caught in the crossfire of his big sister's tantrums and power games with her parents more times than he'd had hot dinners. Oh, goddamn. Captain Crunch for dinner? That ain't too bad. It's gonna be fine. I eat cereal for dinner all the time, and just look at me now. Actually, no, I take it back. Go make that kid a hot dinner right now. We don't need more me's in this world. Slimebeard tried to make the final leap to the canon that they'd been imagining for Coco since they'd first reached out, where Ikoko developed his sex drive and used his mind control ability to get somebody to freeze up long enough for him to have sex with them. So ridiculous. I pointed out that he'd spent his entire childhood living with Isel, who had been badly damaged due to being frozen up, so he was more than likely acutely aware of how much damage forcing somebody to freeze could do. Chances were his parents had instilled into him the importance of using his mind control power ethically, if ethical use of such a power is even possible. It's not. Free will. Hello? Self-determination, anyone? With that in mind, I asked, was Slimebeard sure that Ikoko's moral code would allow him to do that? I mean, it's an interesting way to circumnavigate the problem, but would it really have been so bad to spell this out completely for Slimebeard? They don't seem to react that well to subtleties. So maybe it is the best way to do this. Like, oh, now we have this other problem to encounter, and they'll probably just say yes, like they've done to everything else so far in the story, right? Right? No, because it's a fetish story in disguise. So Slimebeard thought about this and indeed decided that no,
Ikoko was too nice of a boy to do that.
So they changed their story. That Isel would be a nice big sister and mind control somebody on Ikoko's behalf so that Ikoko could get laid. Well, that kind of makes it even worse, doesn't it? Oh, God. I asked whether Ikoko would be happy to accept such a gift. Wasn't that just as bad as doing it himself? Slimebeard then floundered and didn't really seem sure how to react. I gave them a few moments to work out what they wanted to do next with Ikoko, but they were lost at this point. Without justifying non-con, there was no way that Ikoko could have that foreign trip the way that Slimebeard had imagined. And without that happening, Slimebeard had no use for Ikoko. So yeah, your idea has been trashed this whole time. It's time to throw it away now. And here comes the meltdown. Because they paid for something that apparently OP isn't interested in facilitating, which I 100% don't blame her for. So everybody get out your vials, cups, buckets, because here come the beard tears. So is Slimebeard so lost, I pointed out the no refunds for creepy crap clause in my terms of service, and Slimebeard's attitude changed instantly. They hadn't even looked at my terms of service. Note, they are not the least bit hard to find. They're linked on every profile page on every social media that I use, and in the notes section of my invoice template, which Slimebeard got prior to this consultation. And they were shocked to see that I had such a clause. They went from being irritable and demanding to saying, "I bet you hate me now," and sending multiple crying and scared emojis. Oh yeah, the pity roll. There's only two modes, righteous indignation and pity. Both of them have been tried, both of them have failed, and now I think it's time to just take your ball and go home. It's over, Slimebeard. I gotta be real honest with you, your idea wasn't worth a squirt of piss anyways. Who's the market for this? I guess Slimebeard themselves. Oh, I said that I didn't hate Slimebeard, I just had rules. And considering that the nature of what I do is so unusual, I made my terms easily accessible so people could clearly see how my services, limits included, worked. We canceled the second consultation, and I never heard from Slimebeard again. I can't say that I'm disappointed. As a small epilogue, I looked at their profile page just before writing this post and saw that they had recently made a journal post. It's about how most of the people they talk to on Discord piss them off, and how it's gotten so bad that they had to issue a sort of mass demand that people think about what they're saying before they talk to Slimebeard. Yeah, irony. They are still a delight to talk to, I am sure. Yes, let's all jump through hoops to have the honor of talking to Slimebeard. Ugh, end me now. TLDR, Beard with creepy character wants me to work on character development, doesn't bother looking up what my limits are, and is surprised when I say that I don't work on that creepy garbage. Well, I mean, all's well that ends well? Question mark. It could have been like a big explosive thing. You could have gone to war on social media and stuff like this. But instead, Slimebeard tried their couple of tactics, and then they tucked tail between their legs and ran away without booking the second consultation. So they weren't really out all of their money, which I guess is a good thing, considering that they're low income or whatever the hell they said at the beginning. But yeah, how hard is it to vet the person that you're gonna be working with before you fork over a bunch of cash? You know what I'm saying? I understand wanting to invest in yourself. I throw, money at YouTube-related stuff all the freaking time. But there's a difference between, investing in yourself and just being stupid and throwing your money into a hole. Which, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that... I'm not saying that OP's work is like a hole. I'm saying that, yeah, this money was basically burned because Slimebeard didn't read the terms of service. It's really simple. The simplest thing in the world. I know that OP does good work, but you have to work within the parameters of what somebody else is comfortable with. And I think that's perfectly acceptable. Like I said at the beginning, the contracts are all about negotiation. And if this was something that you wanted to negotiate, offer a higher fee, something like that, I mean, OP probably would still say no, but at least they wouldn't take the commission because they know what direction you're trying to head with it. Ugh. So yeah, definitely a worrying mess, but not the most explosive ending, not the most worrying mess that I've seen. I do hope Slimebeard gets it figured out at some point. But based on the mini epilogue, it seems like they're just going to continue blaming everybody else for their own problems, which is really sad in a way. But oh well, you can't save them all, and saving them all really isn't even my goal. My goal is to provide you guys with some fresh, delicious, cringy entertainment every single day. And I hope that I have done that today, succeeded in my quest. If I had, you could let me know by liking, commenting, and or subscribing if you have not already. Maybe you could share this little one-off video around somewhere. That would be pretty cool. I'm gonna make the thumbnail look pretty awesome, I hope, maybe. We've also got links in the description, of course, as always. OP's Patreon, that's super important. We've also got plugs and playlists and podcasts. Yeah, come check me out if you're looking for some ReddX on the go. We got my social medias as well, Twitter, Discord, Facebook. Hooray! Come on through, say hello. I'd love to see you. I'd also like to thank my gorgeous, wonderful, beautiful, generous patrons, Jerry much, as I do every video. So thank you, Robert Waits, Jarhead Jerry, oorah, Logan Wolf, River Jerry, blah, 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 Comrade Inge, Captain Cloud Jerry, Honk Honk, Aaron W, Cinema Susie, For Auld Lang Syne. Welcome to 2022. Beautiful, isn't it? Fire Drake, Giggle Jerry, hee hee, Ureri, Spelling Jerry, different most the. What's going on here? Am I having a seizure? Jari the Pirate, Rogue, Silent Revolver, Jerry the OG, Jerry's Kitsune, Matthew Simmons, Satori, a bundle of Jerry's is coming for your toes. Watch out. A Jerry, a Jungle and Jerry's, a Justy Jargonian Jerry, Alunia, Althea Blue, Anunnaki, Assassin Pug Jerry, Bang Bang, Atheist Jerry, he's so euphoric, Aurora Wildheart, Grizzly, Bailey Joy, Bearded Jerry, watch out for that guy, Bitch Gremlin, Blade the Hero, Blameless Fish, Blip Bloop Jerry, Camille Sarah, Saruano Ash, hey, welcome to the fold, friend, Commander J Tank, Dennis Dayton, Dinosaur Nightlight, Disposable Waifu, Aaron Lennox, Frozen Over Studios, Go Jerry Rangers, you mighty bearded Marlboro and Jerry Rangers. There's too many syllables, Mr. J, but we make it work, that's fine. Gypsy, Adrian BR, have a minty new year, Jerry's. As you know we will. We are the coolest army anywhere on YouTube. Fact. I'm Slim Jerry, yes, I'm the real Jerry. All you other Slim Jerrys are just imitating. I'll be honest, no Jerry is more real than the other Jerrys except the original Jerry. Because everybody wants to be original Jerry, or maybe the original different Jerry. That's Cake Jerry, by the way. Why am I explaining this? Itchy Nuts, just scratching, bro. A pimp named J Crisp, of course. JM Coon, Jennifer Schaefer, Jerry Blacktail, Jerry Bowberry, Banana Fana Fulberry, Fee Fi Mo Mary, Jerry. Jerry, there's more Jerry than the other Jerrys. I just explained that. Jerry the Outlaw Mother Trucker, honk honk. John Hero, John Jerry Jingleheimer Schmidt. Hey, that's my name too. Boofa, because if your boofing is free. KJW, Kajow. Crewhee, Miss Monday, Lord Jerryo, leader of the Thunder Jerrys. Milady Nix, Jerry ribbed for her pleasure, even though she won't appreciate you. Marble Jerry submitted an application to join the Thunder Jerrys, but we had to toss it because that'd be bad for everyone. Yeah, Marbles are conductive or something like that. Jackets Rule, Melgar the Destroyer, Mr. Carrot 797, Natari, Nightmare Jerry, oh no, Origami Jerry Steve, Panda Prince Jerry, Patron Saint of Chicken Nuggies, Saint Jerry, Ramen, Phantom of the Pines, Jerrykins and Jerry Beth, Professor Tom Moriarty. What is that referencing? It sounds so familiar. Is that a Fallout thing? I don't know what's going on. TSM Kirby, Sarita the Lolita, Saucy Octopus, with a couple of S's there. Staples, aka Jerry Yeet, Stephanie Goodner, Synaptic Boomstick, Brilliant Tamago, Teddy the Police, 10-Ton Monster, The One True Fusky, Tom, but it's the Jerry on the inside that counts. Church. Viking Jerry! What does the beard say? Will Mags, Comrade Mooney, Kira, you're a wizard, Jerry. Redwind, Goose S. Honk, Naga Viper, Psy Jerry the Cyborg, Saint's Blessing, a normal Jerry. Damn, I lost my marbles. You got some spares, Marble Jerry? I don't think he does, unless you're part of the Thunder Jerrys. Hunter of Jerry, Devourer of all things tasty, it is Tom! Yes, indeed, Admiral T-Tank, Alunia Demonista, Amara, Atomic Jerryzilla, AZ, Babsy Coon, Banished Knight, Babushka's Irradiated Jam, Broken Spine, Horseradish, the original different Jerry, that's Cake Jerry. I think I mentioned that before, but he deserves it twice. California Jerry Girl, yeah! Chevron 7 Lock, Cha-Cha-Cha-Chia, Jerry. Chris Meska, Cinnamon Buddy Dog, Corporal Admiral, Princess Furry Worry, Woo Jerry, Crypt Titties, Cupid Jerry, Define Jerry, Dopamine Dane Jerry, yes. I start losing my mind most of the way through the list. What's going on? Electrical Fennec, Ghost of Alpha, give her both inches. What about the hidden third inch? He cannot. HMT Mayor, Holy Berry Jerry, Hydra Jerry, and then we got Jeffrey, my name is Jeffrey. Jerry and Tom versus Happy New Year's Werebeard Apocalypse, amen. Jerry and the Subaru STI, what is happening to me? Melting down. Jerry Binks, Jerry's evil twin brother, Terry, Jerry Alto Rivera, Jerry Bean, Yum, Jerry Roxas, Yay, Jerry Role Playing Game, King Tom, Smasher of Jerry Zillas, Kid Life of a Guardian, Little Hand Woods, Lucia Lovecraft, Midnight Sun, Milk-Fed Gimp, Miss Duchess, Not Invisible Angel, One Leg Jerry, working at IHOP. Hey, I see what you did there. I'm gonna come in for some unlimited pancakes and only eat 2 of them. or Carrie Cam, Ghosty, Raptor Art, ReddX, Dive into Jerry. Yeah, that's a work in progress slogan. She's my Jerry Pie. Go drink a Mountain Dew, what a big surprise. Smitty, Warben Jagerman Jensen. Schmitty. He's Jeffrey's cousin or something. Snary, that's Snom Jerry. Spoonie the Rogue, spoopy, scary Jerry Ton. Send shivers down your spine. Steve Kelly, the Necro Jerry Con, the original Jerry, not. To Infinite Jerry and beyond, definitely. Tuna Fish Jerry, Aquarium Escapee, Zestaboo Jerry, and Tom. Promise, Jerry swears. Oh no, Tom, be a good boy. Don't swear, it's just facts, totally science. Go look it up. By it, I mean the rest video if you want. It's whatever's cool. And also thank you to all my $1 patrons. Beautiful people that they are. You guys absolutely smashing it on the Patreon as usual. We had our biggest month of Patreon ever, and I have the Jerry Army and friends to thank. And enemies too. Thank you to the Toms as well, of course. You guys absolutely beautiful. Putting the fuel in my tank, the food in my mouth. Quite literally, honestly. I do hope some other people will consider signing up on the Patreon, but if you can't do it right now, don't sweat it too hard, friends. I just appreciate you coming on through, hanging out with me, and I hope that you come on back and hang out with me again tomorrow, because really the views is how my beard stays so buttered. But in order to do so, you need to keep yourself safe out there. Wash your hands, but also take some time out and do something that you personally enjoy today. Maybe like watching some more ReddX videos. Hey. Always remember, friends, that you are loved, you are worthy, and you definitely deserve it. I shall see you in the next one. And until then, friends, bye-bye.